Hi Aquarius, here's a general look at your solar chart for April 2013, and it's been a very chatty time, or it's going to be a very chatty time. You busier in your head, but also maybe getting out and about more, having to or choosing to, but also meeting and greeting. A great time for connecting, actually. A great time not only for connecting with others out there or over the wires, but also for connecting up the dots in your head, so for learning stuff, for corresponding as well, for sourcing information as well as sharing information, disseminating information. Great time for promotions, media, creative self-expression as well. So you giving more attention to, your sources of information, and also verifying maybe information, but on the other hand, with Venus in there too, a great time for you to be artistically creative, or to just enjoy and partake of the grace and fluency and flow that Venus bestows into this area here, where you can be a lot more persuasive, especially in negotiations or for settling a feud or whatever it is. And then from the 20th, the sun moves, and the focus is going to be more inward, in your private life, maybe behind closed doors a bit more introspection possible as well, and you being perhaps also, some of you, more concerned with a base of operations, a property, a space inside or outside, and you may be pondering things more deeply, especially when Mercury comes in there from the 14th. But easier to push your buttons as well, because emotions will be nearer the surface, but also you could be harking back to the past a bit. You could be connecting with parental figures, or maybe figures from your past more. Which is not necessarily a good or bad, it's just the energy, and that's the way it's kind of pointing you. And now Mercury, until the 14th, Mercury's in a very... Mercury will give your thoughts and your conversations a very sort of materialistic, perhaps more practical slant. Resources like money, property, goods, possessions, space, venue, whatever it is, will be more on your mind, and will cause you to correspond or discuss, or to have to fill out forms, or and you could be giving more thought to the piggy bank, and conversations could be centered around how to improve things financially, and you are pondering matters fiscal or material as well, weighing up what's the best thing to put where, which can give you the best return. Buying, selling, renting, leasing, that could also be on your mind. A good moment to gather information on how to capitalize on any assets, and that would include your own patch of ground, not only literally on your windowsill or outside of your window, but within you, Aquarius, and how you can capitalize upon your natural gifts. And then from the 14th, Mercury moves into a very outgoing, chatty area of your solar chart, but it's also to do, it's the same place as the sun, so it's very much to do with communications. It's very much being perhaps, consulting with an agent or a teacher, or you being seen as an agent or a teacher or a go-between or advisor. Good time to be developing your speaking and writing, or your other sort of communication skills through any other medium of self-expression, and also your people skills. And it's also a very good time to just stop all that outward expression and communication, and go still and listen, because that is part of communications. That's the flip side of the coin of communications, is to be a creative listener, a good listener, to be you're the great observer of the zodiac anyway. You're an air sign, and you are a great observer of the zodiac, and so therefore is to use that power that you have in your ability to detach and observe. And then and Mercury's been in there actually since February, so Mercury's been in there for a long time. Mercury finally leaves on the 14th, and then I said that already, and I'm talking about Venus now. So scrub that little bit there. Until the 15th, Venus is in your communications sector. I was so busy listening, I lost my thread. But of course, it's just a camera here. So anyway, I can kind of feel you all out there, though. Venus is in your communications sector until the 15th, and that's good news, because that kind of takes the sharp edges off things in what you're hearing around you, people you're connecting with on a sort of sharing, gathering information, sort of teaming up with someone. Maybe it's somebody that you are in a communication with, or maybe it's just through a book or an article, or forums or whatever online. But there's this feeling of connecting with people, and in a friendly kind of a way, maybe sharing views, bouncing ideas off each other, or forming some sort of unity, shaking hands on things there. Great time for settling, smoothing ruffled feathers. Also a great time for negotiations of any kind, getting yourself a good deal. You could be getting on better with brothers and sisters, blood brothers and sisters, but also soul brothers and sisters, up until the 15th. And definitely, you can take advantage of the articulacy. Is that a word? Well, it's just become a word. You could just feel that what you're saying flows more, with very persuasive Venus there. And then from the 15th, Venus beams a very friendly light into your home area, giving you underfloor heating, sort of, metaphorically speaking, but definitely warming things up in that very private sector of your life, to do with your family, to do with where you live. Maybe you get more of the urge to embellish a space, inside or outside, make the most of what you have, appreciate what you have, and see the value that maybe digging a garden or having pot plants on the windowsill can bring to your life, and the benefit that bring. And definitely, over above everything, interfacing more with nature, really appreciating the nature you have access to, and hopefully not just en passant, but really connecting there with nature. And also a good time to be benefiting from any kind of a property exchange as well, I have to say, with Venus there. A good time to be working on the home, or in the space around the home, or indeed from home, and mixing more with others, and that includes, of course, family. You could be feeling more nostalgic at this time. You could be harking back to the good old days, and that's another way that this can work. But definitely Venus, the great balancer, can bring balance at the very root of your life, and more balance and harmonious feelings to yourself inside. Now, until the 20th, Mars is going along quite closely with the Sun in your solar communication sector. So again, Mars really stimulating that communication sector, stirring things up. Mars likes to stick his two pennyworth in and his spanner in the works sometimes, or rather, should I say, he just likes to stir things up, really, and can be very much assertive, make you more assertive in your speaking, writing, and other forms of communications, more dynamic in your sourcing of information, and your sort of information seeking, and also with education, and you as the teacher, not just as the student. You can be very practical and indeed successful through media, through creative self-expression, through any kind of information exchange, or teaching or learning, because you can develop things through here by you just putting a lot more energy into it, and you'll be more in the mood to sort of speak up. But just watch it, because you are a sign that is an air sign, that is has strong opinions anyway, so watch out that you don't come on a bit too strong for some people's tastes. Having said that, you can get things off your chest. You can be more clear and decisive about, you know, where you're going from here. But just watch it, because Mars is quite a feisty, hot energy. So you know, be careful that you're not too hasty with what you say, or secretly fuming about you know, what somebody else has said, because it can seem, because you're just kind of having that Mars energy not only channeling through you but swirling around you, that others are kind of coming across too bold and too strong at you sometimes as well. But Venus is there also from the 15th. She's already got there before Mars has arrived. So Venus, as I said earlier, is the great balancer and will take the sharp edges off things. And then from the 20th, Mars moves into the root of your chart, the same as the Sun. And actually Venus just moved out of there on the 15th. Sorry, I made a mistake there, but she'll be in there until the 15th. So Mars moves into the root of your chart on the 20th, and that means that, you know, for some people, when this energy comes into this area, they want to do DIY, they want to do spring cleaning, they want to get into the garden, you know. It can mean that you're doing any of those things, home improvements, or indeed being in a locality or a neighborhood. Not only that you're enjoying more, but you can be more dynamic in, get out and about more, connect more with tribe, community, and neighborhood. And for some of you, it might mean that you are being more decisive or assertive about a property or a place on the map, or a space inside or outside. You know, you don't want to hang around and wait for others. And also with family matters, neighborhood matters as well. So there's a kind of a tension with Mars that can surface, a sort of tension which can surface every now and again, and that can affect your mood, because it's actually quite a moody area that Mars has gone into from then. But maybe you've got to look to yourself rather than blaming others, although blaming others is you know, you have permission. But, you know, it's always better maybe to look back to yourself and say, okay, what is it in me that velcros onto this, that is the hook for this? What is there in me, in my patterning, that's, you know, putting my back up over this here? And maybe looking to square up to some patterns of your own, tying up loose ends, and maybe, you know, opening that cupboard that's got those old skeleton bones rattling around in it, and sort of hoofing them out and getting rid of them, however it is anyway. I should just mention, from the 21st, 22nd, there's a tendency for someone to be thinking in a blinkered way, in too narrow a way. It might be you, and that you should, on those dates there, just be aware that you should keep an open mind and see things maybe from a different point of view. On the 22nd as well, don't expect too much for yourself or others on the level of the heart. Just keep yourself to yourself perhaps a little bit more, or protected a little bit more. You are a great observer, so that detachment can see you through that little blip there. And then 28th to the 30th to the 1st of May, a bit more pressure to push against there, maybe a bit more burden on your shoulders, but just move forwards confidently. But don't expect to dash ahead, just, you know, expect things to move along kind of slowly, because that's the Saturn one. Now, until June, Jupiter, planet of abundance, is in an expansion, is positively influencing your sun sign, coming from another air sign to your air sign. So this is a time when you could be more appreciated for your abilities, your take on things, your ability to, you know, you are a sign that is not averse to taking a risk, is not averse to sort of standing out from the crowd, or even going against the stream of mainstream thinking. You are the sign of the zodiac whose job it is to be the unconventional one, the unorthodox one. So Lincoln was an Aquarian. That's quite a sort of current one, isn't it? So was Germaine Greer and famous lady, and Virginia Woolf, of course, but the woman who started the who was very active in the feminist movement. But there's a few of them who are her name's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I'm wasting time. So Jupiter, Betty Friedan, that's it. It's funny how when you take your mind off what you're trying to think of, the thing might just pop into your head. Isn't that weird? Perhaps somebody can do a study on that. But yes, put more at the center of attention for what your abilities are. But as you are put in more at the center of everything, you're learning from it. You're learning a lot from it. It's just not all in a plate, in your lap. You're definitely learning from it. It's a very romantic area here as well. You might be spoilt for choice in that regard. If you're looking, if you're not looking, it'll work in a different kind of a way. You could have more access to environments which you really enjoy, people, hangouts, that you really enjoy. You can be a bit more self-indulgent. Be careful that you don't burn the candle at both ends. You could be having a lot more to do with young people, children as well, than you do normally, because this is the area of the child in your solar chart, and you can grow through that. Any of those areas, and also contact with animals is there. You can really learn a lot. And you Aquarians born 30th of January to the 8th of February, or with around 10 to 19 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most. Saturn is just started a new transit, which is in a more dynamic, more hard-working angle to your sun sign, and will be there for another 2 years. So slowly over that time you will be redefining your place in the world. You will be looking into how you can improve things professionally. You will be looking to maybe make changes which will affect your life direction and could even affect your place on the map or your domestic setup. You'll be restructuring there. And your outer world, the image in the outer world. And if you're old enough, look back 28, 29 years when you have been in exactly the same part of the transit of Saturn as you are now. Even though you were a lot younger and had a lot less experience, if you look back at that, you can see what was happening and what might happen next, and then you just get the gist of it, so it can be quite an eye-opener. And you Aquarians born 26th of January to the 1st of February, or 6 to 12 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most this month. And then Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they don't move much month to month, so you can see which part of your sign they're affecting the most if you go onto my website. But Uranus, your ruling planet, is in a very opportunistic angle to your sun sign, allowing you to think in different ways, changing the way you think, changing your approach, your viewpoint, changing even the language or jargon you use. It'll bestow wonderful opportunities for new concepts. You could be at the leading edge in some way with some kind of groundbreaking way of thinking, or through sciences, studying something unusual, maybe even something quirky like astrology. And definitely during this long transit of Uranus, depending on when it comes within range of an important point in your natal chart, you can be involved in something quite, which is raising other consciousness in the world, and also groups, connecting more with particular groups, a group of people with something in common, connecting more in with those. Maybe it's over the net as well, and then that being a benefit because you can share and exchange that information with them, and they're learning and you're learning and everybody's learning, and that's what an Aquarian likes. Neptune is slowly changing your values, on the material level of things, you being kinder and sharing more maybe with others, but definitely don't overlook things, because boundaries can get blurred related to money and property. And Pluto's in the sign before yours for a few years to come, regenerating you from deep levels. loosening up and freeing up some of those encrusted, ingrained patterns that we all suffer from, connected to our past, and some of them are good, but some of them aren't. And so if anything is regularly causing you to shoot yourself in the foot or be counterproductive, then letting go of that is going to be part of the task with Pluto in this part of your solar chart. Letting go of an old way of being, an old standpoint, is now in progress, and there's going to be this deep gear shift within you as the old order crumbles away and the decks are clearing for the new green shoots to come up. And that's it for April. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, find the forecast for those, listen to those, and it'll give you a different slant on what I've said here. And I'll see you the next time.